Luke chapter 10. Just because of time, 17 to 18, and Luke 13, 1 to 5, because this is going to then be converted into something else. So I want to keep that focus going. Jesus was constantly reminding us that the story is about God. Brethren, when God is in your story, everything changes. Everything that you need, He puts in your way. Like, there was a time when things got really difficult, and then God sent somebody, and that person fasted for me for like 60 days. You know, whenever I think about that, I still feel bad. Like, why did this person fast for 60 days for me? Like, I can't even fast 60 days for me. I promise you, I can't fast 60 days for. I've done 40 days once. Even that's gone. Like, okay, you know, yeah. No. And yet, God sends that to happen. What I'm trying to explain to you is this. When God is in your story, He sends people that will fast. He sends people that will pray. He sends intercessors. He sends people that will give you finances. He sends counselors. He sends teachers. Every single thing you need is done by God. We don't have what it takes to motivate all the actors for our lives to be what God can do. When we're in that place where it is God working all those things, that's when we're in God's rest. So you see, when God is in your story, I'm not talking about it's important to be gifted, it's good to have a gift in your story, it's important to be wise, it's important to have wisdom in your story, but the thing you need more than anything else is God in your story. And having God back in your story, becoming aware of God, that's where I'm going today. And that's what we're talking about. Jesus was constantly reminding us that the story is about God. It's easy to forget that. And why do we forget it? It's because in considering all that God has done, like God has made so much provision in the clouds, in rain, in stories, in nature, in insects, in money, in people, in the weather, in the stars, in the sun. Like, it's so easy to get caught up in cosmology or anthropology, or which one is it now? The study of the weather, whatever it is called. And we forget about God, who made this amazing life and this amazing world for us. But when God is in your story, your story is about change. Now, what then are we supposed to do? We bring God into our story by responding to God. Actually, more specifically, we respond. You see, God is grace Himself. You know, the throne of God is called the throne of grace. Amen. But far more importantly is we bring God into our story by responding to God. We respond to God, very critical, by responding to His grace. Amen. Now, what is the grace of God? It is that thing that God can do that we could never do ourselves.